It all began with a simple act of kindness that led me to a stranger who saw straight through me. What I did not expect was that his test would force me to face the one part of my past I never wanted to revisit. So now, there is no turning back. You are watching Betrayal Story Central. Let's step into the story. My breath caught in my throat the moment I saw the name on the envelope. Flynn. Written in neat, careful handwriting. A name I spent years trying to forget. I felt the room tilt. My fingers grew cold. The air felt thicker, as if the walls of Rowan's bedroom had moved closer around us. "Why is his name here?" I asked. Neil rested both hands on the metal box. He did not touch the envelope. He did not rush his answer. "Because he applied," he said. My heartbeat stumbled. "He applied for what?" I whispered. "For the same program you stand on the edge of now," Niall said softly. 3 months ago." I stared at the envelope again. It felt unreal, impossible, cruel. "He reached out?" I asked. My voice cracked. "Why would he reach out?" Niall studied my face for a long moment. "Not everyone who hurts others knows peace," he said. "Some carry guilt. Some realize too late what their actions cost. Some grow and want to change." I looked away quickly. A wave of anger rose in my chest. Bright, sharp, unexpected. "He broke me," I said. "He made my childhood a place I did not want to be. He taught me to be silent." "Yes," Neil said softly. "But even broken people grow. Sometimes." I felt my hands clench. "So what does this mean?" I asked. "It means your lives crossed again without you knowing," Neil said. He submitted an application. A long one. Honest. Painful. He wrote about you. My stomach twisted. "About me?" I whispered. "Yes, not by name, but clearly about you. The cousin he hurt, the guilt he carries, the moment he says changed him." I stepped back. "I do not want his apology," I said. "I do not want him in this story." "I understand," Niall said, "but understand this too. My program is not only about reward, it is about accountability, healing, growth, facing the truth instead of hiding from it." I shook my head. "You expect me to help him? After what he did?" "No," Niall said calmly. "I expect you to see the full picture. Then choose." I looked at him sharply. "Choose what?" He lifted the envelope and held it toward me. "Whether you want your future tied to the past that broke you," he said. "Whether you want this foundation to help you rewrite your story. Whether you are ready to step into something bigger than pain." I stared at the envelope. It felt like poison. It felt like closure. It felt like a wound reopening itself. Niall spoke carefully. "Callum, you want to hide. You said it yourself. Silence is your shield. But real change demands facing the parts of yourself you keep in the dark." I swallowed. "You want me to confront him," I said quietly. "Yes," Niall answered. "Not physically, not recklessly, not violently. Through truth, through words you never had the chance to speak, through a conversation that frees you instead of trapping you." I felt heat behind my eyes again. "I do not want to relive that," I whispered. "I know," he said gently, "but you have lived inside that silence for years. It shaped your choices. It shaped your fear. It shaped your idea of yourself." He took a slow breath. "You cannot build the life Rowan wanted for you while hiding behind a story someone else wrote." The words hit painfully, because they were true. I had been living like that scared boy for years. Quiet, careful, timid, hoping not to upset anyone, carrying guilt that never belonged to me. Neil placed the envelope on the desk. "You do not have to open it now," he said, "or ever. But you need to know why this matters." My voice felt weak. "Why?" I asked. "Because Flynn did not get accepted," Niall said. I blinked. "Why not?" "Because he was honest," Niall replied. "Painfully honest. He wrote about the harm he caused you. He wrote about the shame he carries. He wrote about the fear that he damaged you beyond repair." I swallowed hard. "And because he wrote that until he made things right with you, he did not deserve help." The words stunned me. They stunned me so deeply that everything in my mind went quiet. "He said that?" I asked. "Yes," Niall said. "And now you have a choice." "What choice?" I asked again. Niall stepped toward me and looked me in the eyes with a seriousness that felt like a weight settling over my shoulders. Callum, he said, if you take this opportunity, I need you to face the part of your life that taught you to disappear. He pointed gently to the envelope. This is the beginning of that choice. I looked at it. The name, the past, the weight of everything I never said. I cannot promise I am ready, I whispered. You do not have to be ready, Niall said. You only have to be willing. A long silence followed. My heartbeat filled my ears. I reached forward, fingers shaking slightly. I picked up the envelope. The moment I touched it, Neil said quietly, then you should know something else. Flynn has been trying to find you. The envelope felt warm in my hand, almost alive. My fingers trembled around the edges as Neil's last words echoed through me. Flynn has been trying to find you. I swallowed. My stomach tightened. This was too much, too sudden, too close. He has been trying to find me? I asked. My voice sounded thin. Why? Niall moved to the window and looked out at the quiet street. His posture was calm, but there was something thoughtful in the set of his shoulders. People do not change unless they face themselves, he said, and Flynn has been trying to face the version of himself he left behind, the version that hurt you. He waited years, I said. Yes, Niall replied. Some wounds take years to admit. Some truths take years to speak. I breathed slowly, trying to steady myself. How did he look for me? I asked. He reached out to your aunt, Niall said. He wrote to your mother. He searched records to see if you had moved. He tried to trace your old job. I blinked. My mother never told me, I whispered. Because she thought he would hurt you again, Niall said. She did not know how to tell you. Sometimes parents hide things out of fear, not malice. I looked down at the envelope again. The name written on it felt like a storm. So you read his application, I asked. I read every application, Niall said. But his stood out because he did not defend himself. He did not blame anyone. He wrote his guilt plainly. How did he describe me? I asked. My voice was unsteady. Niall turned back toward me. He called you the kindest person he ever knew, he said, and the only person he ever betrayed. The words hit hard, sharper than a slap, softer than forgiveness. He said he broke something pure, Niall continued, and that the guilt stayed with him. I sat down slowly on Rowan's bed again. My legs felt weak. He deserves to live with that guilt, I whispered. Perhaps, Niall said, but guilt does not heal anyone. Not him, not you. A heavy silence followed. Why did he apply here? I asked. Because your story became part of his story, Niall said. He cannot move forward without addressing the damage he caused. I clenched the envelope harder. And you want me to talk to him? I asked. Yes, Niall said. Not for him. For you. To release the version of yourself he shaped. I looked up sharply. I do not want anything to do with him, I said. I left that life behind. But it did not leave you, Niall replied. You carry the silence from the house. You carry the fear of speaking. You carry the belief that you are a burden. My throat tightened. And all of that began with him, Niall said. I closed my eyes briefly. The memories flickered. The wall, the blood, the humiliation. The words he whispered that took root in me. I opened my eyes. I felt anger. I felt pain. I felt something else too. Exhaustion from carrying so much alone. What if I say no? I asked. Then you still get the opportunity, Niall said. But you will carry that weight with you into the new life I offer. And it will follow you. I hesitated. What if I say yes? Then I arrange a conversation, Niall said. A safe one. Supervised, structured, designed for closure, not conflict. The thought of seeing Flynn again made my chest tighten. But part of me wondered what it would feel like to finally speak. To say what I never said. To hear him say what he never said. I cannot decide this now, I said quietly. I am not asking you to decide, Niall said. I am telling you the truth because you deserve to know the ground you are standing on. I nodded slowly. He walked toward the door. There is something else, he said. Something I did not plan to tell you today. But after everything you revealed, I think you should know. I looked up. What is it? I asked. He paused, his hand resting on the doorframe. Flynn did not only apply to the program, Niall said. My heartbeat jumped. What do you mean? I asked. Niall turned to look at me fully. He left a message for you, he said. A message I was instructed to give you only if you chose to open the envelope. What message? Neil took a slow breath. He said he is afraid he will not get the chance to apologize in person. My chest froze. Why? I asked. Niall's next words felt like cold water. Because he is very sick. Niall stepped closer and added quietly, Callum, he does not know how much time he has left. That is why he has been looking for you. The word sick echoed in the room like a slow heartbeat. I stared at Niall, my mind struggling to understand what he had just said. He is sick? I asked. Yes, Niall replied. Very. A coldness spread through my chest. What kind of sick? Chronic heart failure, Niall said. Severe, progressive. He has been in and out of hospitals for months. My breath faltered. He did not write that in his application, I whispered. No, Niall said. He did not want sympathy. He did not want his diagnosis to erase his responsibility. I sank deeper onto the edge of the bed. The room suddenly felt smaller, heavier. So he is dying? I asked. Neil hesitated. He is fighting, he said carefully. But his doctors recommended he prepare for every outcome. I pressed my fingers to my forehead. My cousin, the boy who made me feel invisible, the boy who shoved me into walls and pushed shame into the corners of my mind. He was dying. A mixture of emotions tightened inside me. Anger, confusion, sadness, something I did not want to name. When did he find out? I asked. Last year, Niall said. He wrote that the diagnosis shattered him. It made him rethink everything, especially the harm he caused you. I swallowed hard. And he looked for me after that? I asked. Yes, Niall said. He told your aunt he needed to speak with you. He said the guilt was too heavy to carry any longer. I looked at the envelope again. Flynn's name stared back at me like a wound I thought had healed. I do not know what to do, I said quietly. That is normal, Niall said. You have carried this pain alone for years. Confronting him feels impossible. Forgiving him feels unbearable. Ignoring him feels dishonest. I felt tears sting behind my eyes. I had not cried about Flynn in years. I thought I left that version of myself behind. I do not want to help him, I said. I do not want to comfort him. I do not want to pretend nothing happened. You should not, Niall replied. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is releasing yourself from the story he wrote for you. I breathed slowly. If I talk to him, I said, what does that change? It may change nothing, Niall said, or it may change everything. Closure does not undo the past, but it unties the knot around your chest. His voice softened. You deserve to breathe freely. I looked up at him. And what about him? I asked. What happens to him? He is in a rehabilitation center, Niall said. Not far from here. He spends most days receiving treatment. He told the staff that if you ever reached out, they should call him immediately. I blinked. He told them that? Yes, Niall said. He said he did not want to die without apologizing to you. A sharp ache spread across my ribs. I stood up slowly, the envelope still in my hand. So you want me to go to him? I said. No, Niall replied. I want you to choose. He stepped closer. If you cannot face him now, I understand, he said. If you want to wait, I understand. If you never want to see him, I understand. His voice grew more gentle. But time may not wait for you. I looked down at the envelope again. My hand shook slightly. I am scared, I whispered. I am scared of going back to that feeling. I am scared of seeing him weak. I am scared I will hate him. I am scared I will forgive him. I do not know which one feels worse. Niall nodded. Fear is honest, he said, and honesty is the beginning of healing. I looked toward the bedroom door, imagining the road outside, the rehabilitation center, the room where Flynn waited, the version of myself I would have to face. I need time, I said. You have it, Niall replied, but not as much as you think. My breath caught. What do you mean? Neil hesitated again. There is something else, he said. Flynn wanted me to tell you this only if you chose to open the envelope. I braced myself. What is it? I asked. Niall held my gaze. He asked me to tell you he never forgave himself. I felt a sharp pain in my chest. And, Niall continued softly, that if you wanted to speak with him, you should do it soon, because he is scheduled for a risky surgery next week. My breath froze. Risky? I whispered. Very, Niall said. His doctors do not know if he will survive it. The room blurred for a moment. Niall placed a steady hand on the desk. Callum, he said gently, you may be the last person he wants to speak to before he goes into that surgery. My throat tightened painfully. I do not know if I can do this, I said. You can, Niall said, but only if you choose to. A long silence followed. I stared at the envelope. My past, my pain, my fear, my closure, all in one thin envelope. My hands shook as I whispered, what if I am too late? I left Rowan's bedroom because the air inside felt too heavy. I walked down the hallway and stepped into the living room, where the soft light made the house feel warmer than I felt inside. I needed space. I needed a moment to breathe. I needed to understand what choosing meant. Neil followed slowly but did not speak. He gave me distance, letting me move through the room like someone trying to escape their own thoughts. I stared at Rowan's photos on the wall, his smile, his quiet confidence, his warmth, all the things I had spent years trying to build inside myself. Neil stopped beside me. He believed in second chances, he said quietly. I kept staring at Rowan's face. I do not know if I can do that, I said. That is why it is a choice, Neil replied. Not an obligation. I ran a hand over my face. He hurt me, I said. He broke something in me, and now I am supposed to walk into a room and give him what he never gave me. You are not giving him anything, Niall said. You are giving yourself a chance to stop carrying what he left behind. I inhaled sharply. And if I see him, I said, and the memories come back, the fear, the shame, then you speak, Neil said. For the first time, you say what you should have been allowed to say years ago. I hesitated. And if I cannot, then I will help, he said. I turned to him surprised. You would come with me? Yes, Niall said simply. Not as protection, as support. My throat tightened. He stepped closer. Callum, he said, your silence protected you once, but it is not protecting you anymore. It is trapping you. I looked down at the envelope. Flynn's name felt heavier than paper. What if he wants forgiveness? I asked. Forgiveness is not a gift, Niall said. It is a choice. You do not owe him anything, not even peace. I nodded slowly. What if he wants more than an apology? I asked. Then you decide what you can give, Neil replied. You choose the boundary. You choose the tone. You choose the distance. I swallowed hard. What if this breaks me? I whispered. He shook his head gently. It will not, he said. It will free you. The room fell silent. My stomach twisted. A deep, quiet part of me knew he was right. I had carried the weight of that house for too long. I had shaped my life around avoiding confrontation. I had built entire habits from fear. Flynn had written a confession to a stranger. He had looked for me. He had reached out. He was dying. He wanted a chance to say the words that kept him awake at night. And I was the one who had to decide whether he got that chance. I took a slow breath. I want to know what he wrote, I said quietly. Neil nodded once. Then open it, he said. My fingers trembled as I slid them under the seal. I pulled out the single sheet letter inside. I read the first line. Callum, you deserved a better cousin than I was. I read the next line. You deserve safety. You deserved kindness. You deserved the truth I was too cowardly to speak. I blinked slowly, trying to steady myself. I spent years hiding behind my own pain. I made you carry what I did not have the courage to carry myself. I broke you so I would not feel broken. My breath caught. I am sorry. I am sorry in a way I do not know how to put into words. I wish I could take back every moment. I wish I could undo every bruise, every silence, every fear I planted in you. My hands shook. And at the end of the page, if you never want to see me, I understand. If you do, I will not waste the moment. I will listen, even if all you do is stand there in silence. That will be enough. I folded the letter slowly. Neil watched me. Well? He asked gently. I exhaled. I want to see him, I said. The words surprised me, but they were true, painfully true. Neil nodded, not with victory, but with quiet understanding. I will arrange it, he said. When? I asked. He looked at his watch. If you are ready, he said, we can go now. My heart jumped. My body froze, but something inside me moved forward. Yes, I whispered. Then let us go, he said. He opened the door to Rowan's house and stepped outside. I followed. As we walked to the cars, Neil said quietly, I should tell you something before we arrive. Flynn does not know you agreed to come. The rehabilitation center sat at the edge of town, surrounded by quiet trees and long, empty sidewalks. The building looked peaceful from the outside, but walking toward its front doors felt like stepping into an old nightmare. My chest tightened with every step. I had not seen Flynn in nearly 10 years, not since I left that house and the boy who haunted my nights, not since I swore to never let his shadow cross my life again. And now I was walking toward him deliberately. Neil held the door for me. I stepped inside because my legs kept moving before my mind could argue. The reception area was warm, soft lights, calm music. People with tired eyes and hopeful faces sat in chairs, waiting to be called. Niall approached the receptionist while I stood behind him, trying to breathe through the tightness in my chest. He spoke quietly. We are here for Flynn Merrick, he said. The receptionist nodded. Room 12. He is awake. He has been anxious all morning. My stomach clenched. We walked down a hallway lined with closed doors. Each step felt heavier. At door 12, Neil stopped. He looked at me carefully. You can walk away now, he said, or you can walk through this door. Whatever you choose, I will not think less of you. My breath trembled. I am here, I whispered. I made the choice. He nodded gently and knocked. A voice inside said, Come in. Neil pushed the door open and stepped aside for me. I walked in. The moment I saw Flynn, the air left my lungs. He sat propped up in bed, thinner than I remembered. His face was pale, his eyes tired. A heart monitor beeped softly beside him. He looked older, but the shape of his face was the same. The boy who hurt me had become a man trying to hold his body together. At first, he did not look at me. He was staring toward the window, lost in thought. Then Neil cleared his throat gently. Flynn, he said, you have a visitor. Flynn turned his head. The moment his eyes landed on me, something inside him broke open. His mouth parted. His hand trembled. His eyes widened with shock, then disbelief, then a pain I recognized but had never seen on his face before. Callum, he whispered. My chest tightened. He said my name like it hurt him, like he never expected to speak it again. I stood frozen near the door. Flynn reached for the rail of the bed with a shaking hand. I did not think you would come, he said. His voice cracked. I swallowed hard. I could not move closer. I could not move away. He wiped his eyes quickly. He was crying. Flynn, the boy who never showed vulnerability, the boy who hid behind confidence and cruelty. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you for giving me even 2 minutes. I said nothing. He took a slow breath, chest rising weakly. I do not know where to start, he said. I practiced this for months. The words never came out right. Silence filled the room. Flynn searched my face like he was begging for something he did not have the right to ask for. Callum, he said quietly, I am sorry. The words broke him. He shut his eyes as more tears fell. I hurt you, he said. I bullied you. I humiliated you. I made you think you were nothing. I did things I cannot take back. I lie awake at night, wishing I could change the way I treated you. His voice trembled. I do not expect forgiveness. I do not even expect you to speak. I just needed you to hear the truth from me once before I run out of time. My fingers curled at my sides. My throat tightened painfully. He continued. I was angry at the world, at myself, at the pressure I carried. But none of that excuses what I did to you. I used you as an outlet, and you never deserved that. He breathed shakily. You deserve protection. You deserved kindness. You deserve the family I stole from you. He wiped his face again. I broke us, he whispered, and I am so sorry. He lowered his head. I thought I would die before I ever got to say it to your face. My body felt heavy. My heart hammered in my chest. For the first time in my life, Flynn looked small, fragile, human. Niall stood quietly behind me, letting the moment unfold. I took a slow, shaky breath. My voice felt distant, but it came out anyway. You took something from me, I said. Flynn looked up, eyes swollen, waiting, bracing. My hands trembled. And I am here to take it back. Flynn exhaled sharply, tears blurring his vision, as he whispered, Tell me what you need from me. Flynn waited, broken, exposed, afraid to breathe wrong. His eyes were red and swollen, yet he did not look away. He held my gaze with the kind of fear people feel when they expect punishment and hope for mercy at the same time. My own heartbeat thumped so loud I felt it in my throat. You want to know what I need from you? I said quietly. Flynn nodded, slow, careful, like the movement cost him strength. Then listen, I said. I stepped one pace closer. My hands trembled, but my voice did not. You hurt me, I said. Not just physically. You hurt the parts of me people could not see, the parts no one asked about. Flynn swallowed hard. You made me believe I was a burden, I continued. You made me think my voice was a problem. You made me hate the sound of my own thoughts because I thought they annoyed people. A tear slipped down Flynn's cheek. I spent years fighting that, I said. Years trying to convince myself I was allowed to exist. Years trying to unlearn the things you drilled into me. He covered his mouth with his hand, shaken. You taught me silence, I said. You taught me fear. You taught me to disappear. My voice cracked, but I did not stop. And I am here because I refuse to disappear anymore. Flynn began crying harder, silent tears. He shook his head slowly. Callum, I was a coward, he said. A weak, bitter coward who took his own pain out on someone smaller, kinder, and more vulnerable. I have hated myself for years because of it. I did not soften. I could not. You never apologized, I said. I know, he whispered. I was ashamed. And when I finally built the courage, I could not find you. You did not try soon enough, I said. He nodded at once. No excuses. No deflection. You are right, he said. I should have looked for you immediately. I should have told the truth. I should have admitted who I was instead of hiding behind the person people believed I was. I took another slow breath. I am here today because I needed to look at you, I said, to see what remains of the person who shaped so much of my life. And what do you see? He asked, voice trembling. I see someone human, I said. Flynn closed his eyes, a sharp sob escaped him. But that does not erase what you did, I added. He nodded again. It shouldn't, he said through tears. I do not expect anything from you, not forgiveness, not friendship, nothing. I just needed you to know I regret it, every day of my life. Silence held the room like a tight string. Flynn finally asked, voice barely audible, Do you hate me? I hesitated. No, I said. I do not hate you. I hate what you made me believe about myself. I hate the shadow you left inside me. I hate the silence I carried because of you. He opened his eyes and looked at me with raw desperation. Then what do you want from me? He asked. The answer rose from inside me like something I had kept locked for years. I want you to hear the truth, I said. You do not get to define my worth anymore. Flynn covered his face again. His shoulders shook. You do not get to be the voice in my head, I continued. You do not get to take my confidence. You do not get to shape who I become. He sobbed harder. And you do not get to die believing you ruined my life permanently, I said. Because you did not. He looked up slowly, overwhelmed. You broke me, I said softly, but I am rebuilding myself now. Flynn nodded, breath shaking. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you for telling me. I needed to hear it. I deserved to hear it. I exhaled. My chest felt lighter, not healed, but open. Flynn took a shallow breath. Callum, he said, I need to ask you one thing. Just one. I hesitated. What is it? I asked. He looked at me with fear and hope tangled in the same expression. If I don't survive the surgery, he whispered, could you stay for a little while? Not for me. For the boy I hurt. For the person you are now. My heart ached. I looked at Niall. He nodded once, silently telling me the choice was mine. I looked back at Flynn. My voice was calm, clear, steady. I will stay, I said, but not because of what you did or who you were. I will stay because I am done running. Flynn sobbed with relief. For the first time in my life, I felt the weight shift off my shoulders. But before I could speak again, a nurse rushed into the room. Her face was pale. Flynn, she said quickly, your heart rhythm just spiked. We need to move you now. Flynn looked at me with panic in his eyes as the monitor alarm began to sound. Callum, he whispered, please don't leave. The heart monitor erupted into sharp, uneven beeps. The nurse reached Flynn in seconds, adjusting wires, checking vitals, calling for backup. Flynn's eyes widened with fear, not the fear of pain, the fear of someone who thinks this might be the last moment he gets in this world. Callum, he whispered again, reaching slightly toward me with a trembling hand. Please. I stepped closer before I even realized I was moving. I am here, I said quietly. His chest rose in fast, shallow breaths. The nurse pressed a button on the wall. I need a crash team in room 12, she said urgently. Another nurse rushed in. Machines beeped. Footsteps echoed. Doors opened. A doctor appeared, calm but quick. I stood at the foot of the bed, feeling my pulse race. Mr. Merrick, the doctor said, your heart rhythm is unstable. We need to take you for immediate intervention. Flynn's eyes darted to me again. Callum, don't go, he pleaded. The fear in his voice was different from anything I had ever heard from him. Raw, human, real. I am not leaving, I said. I am right here. His breath steadied just a little, but the monitors told a harsher truth. The doctor looked toward me. Are you family? He asked. I hesitated. Neil stepped forward. He is here with my permission, Neil said. Let him stay until you move him. The doctor nodded. Flynn clutched the blanket weakly as the team prepared him for transport. Callum, he whispered again. Yes? I do not want to die without knowing something. I leaned closer. What? That you do not carry me anymore, he said. That the part of me living in your silence is gone. The words hit me like a slow, heavy wave. I am letting it go, I said quietly. Right now. Tears slipped down Flynn's face. His breath shook. Thank you, he whispered. The team lifted the bed rails and began rolling him toward the door. I followed beside them, my hand hovering near the rail but not touching it. His breath grew shallower, the beeping more frantic, his face paler. The hallway was long and bright. Every step felt like a countdown. Niall walked behind us quietly, watching both of us with an expression I could not name. At the end of the hallway, the doctor stopped me gently. This is as far as you can go, he said. We will update you. Flynn's hand reached out slightly. Callum, he whispered, say something, anything. I swallowed hard. You are not alone, I said. Not anymore. His eyes softened. A small, grateful breath escaped him. Then the doors swung open, and they pushed him through. The doors closed. The hallway fell silent. My chest felt tight, my breath unsteady. I leaned against the wall, trying to slow the shaking in my hands. Niall stood a few steps away, watching me. He heard you, Niall said softly. I nodded. Do you think he will be all right? I asked. Neil looked toward the doors. I cannot promise, he said. The surgery is risky. His heart is weak, but he has something now that he did not have before. What is that? Peace, Niall said. And peace does more for the heart than any medicine. I exhaled slowly, trying to hold myself together. Minutes passed, then more. Time lost all shape. Niall sat in a chair while I paced the hallway, unable to sit still. Every few steps I glanced toward the surgical doors, wishing they would open. Wishing for a sign, wishing for anything. After what felt like hours, a doctor came out. My breath caught. My entire body froze. But the doctor walked past us without stopping. Not for us. My heart sank again. Neil stood slowly and placed a steady hand on my shoulder. You faced him, he said. You spoke. You took your voice back. Whatever happens next, that moment matters. I nodded, swallowing the tightness in my throat. I feel lighter, I admitted, and terrified. That is what healing feels like, he said. Before I could answer, the surgical doors opened again. This time, a nurse walked directly toward us, her face serious but not cold. Are you here for Flynn Merrick? She asked. Neil and I both stood. Yes, I said, voice shaking. We are. The nurse took a breath. His condition changed during the procedure, she said. My knees weakened. What does that mean? I whispered. She looked at both of us slowly. He made it through surgery, she said. I inhaled sharply. But, she added, he is unstable, and he asked for you. My breath stalled as she finished quietly. He keeps saying your name. He wants you at his bedside now. The nurse led us down another hallway. Each step felt heavier than the last. The air smelled faintly of antiseptic and something warmer, something human. Flynn's room was dimly lit. A small lamp glowed near the window. Machines hummed quietly beside the bed. He lay there, eyes half open, tired, pale, breathing slowly through his mouth. But when he saw me step inside, something in him woke. A faint spark, a trace of strength he saved only for this moment. Callum, he whispered. I walked closer, every part of me tense and soft at the same time. Niall stayed by the door, giving us space without disappearing. I sat in the chair beside the bed. Flynn's hand rested near the rail. He did not reach out. He waited, respecting a boundary he never respected before. How do you feel? I asked quietly. He gave a small, tired smile. Like someone rearranged my chest, he whispered, and then forgot to put everything back. I let out a weak breath, almost a laugh, almost a sob. He watched me with gentle eyes. I did not think you would come, he said. Not today, not ever. I know, I said. I do not deserve this, he whispered. That is not your decision, I replied. Flynn swallowed with effort. I want to say something, he said, and I need you to let me finish it, even if it hurts. I nodded slowly. He took a shaky breath. You were the best part of our family, he said. You were quiet and good, and I was cruel. I want to tell you why, but I do not think the reason matters anymore. What matters is this. You did nothing wrong. You were never the problem. You were never a burden. You were never less. My throat tightened. He continued. I carried pain I did not understand, and instead of facing it, I used you to escape it. I broke a piece of you because I did not know how to fix myself. I blinked hard. Tears blurred my vision. I am ashamed, he said. I am ashamed of who I was. I am ashamed of the boy who hurt you. I want you to know that I have lived with that shame every day. I breathed slowly, trying not to collapse into the moment. And if I do not make it through tonight, Flynn whispered, I want my last thought to be the truth, that you were better than me, braver than me, kinder than me. You became the man I should have tried to be. I wiped my face quickly. He looked at me again with a quiet plea. I want to ask for forgiveness, he said, but I know I do not have the right to it. I leaned forward. You are right, I said softly. You do not have the right to it. Flynn nodded, accepting the words like a blow he expected. But, I added, you have the chance to hear something else. He looked up, confused. You do not get to define my story anymore, I said. That ends today. Not because you apologized, not because you are sick, but because I am choosing myself. Flynn's eyes filled with tears. I am letting go, and I said, not for you, for me. A quiet, broken sound left his throat. And if you want forgiveness, I said, I cannot promise it. Not today. Maybe not ever. But I can promise this. I do not hate you. I do not carry you anymore. I am done being the boy you hurt. His tears fell freely. Thank you, he whispered. You do not know what that means. We sat there in silence, not as cousins, not as enemies, as two people who finally told the truth. After a long, slow moment, Flynn spoke again. Callum, he whispered, I am tired. I know, I said. Will you stay a little longer, he asked. Yes, I said. I will stay. His breath softened, his eyes fluttered. He sank into the pillow with a quiet ease. Before sleep took him, he whispered one last sentence. You saved me. I shook my head gently. No, I said. You chose to be honest. You saved yourself. His breathing slowed, steady, calm. For the first time since I walked into that house as a frightened teenager, I felt something shift inside me. Space, air, a new beginning. Niall stepped inside the room and placed a hand on my shoulder. You did it, he said quietly. You faced the part of your past that kept you silent. I exhaled. And now? I asked. Now, he said, you step into the life waiting for you. I looked at Flynn one last time, then at the door, then at the hallway beyond it. I am ready, I said. Neil nodded. Then tomorrow, Callum Pierce, he said, your new year begins. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, subscribe for more betrayals.